and that means they will make an effort. And many schools are changing their language policies, and
That's
which is
pretty
a good.
positive.
Yeah, and that's the first step, right? So this is why I say it's not automatic at all, but it is important to look at what the school is doing to take that next step.
Exactly. Good point. And let me make a little pause over here because I would like to let the audience know how they can contact someone so professional like you. Someone so knowledgeable that can say, you know what, this is how we can work. This is how we can do. This is your path. How can the people contact you?
Um, I have a website. I
Okay.
have my social media that you can use to contact me, and you can absolutely request a personal consultation. We can have a conversation about your family situation, also about the educational path for your children. It doesn't matter in which country. Parents who relocate or wish to send their child to the English-speaking school, I
Mhm.
support all those stories
Amazing.
happily. And for
What's your
those,
website?
hello, multilinguals. That's my dot,
HelloMultilinguals.com, right?
dot com. Yeah, that's
Okay,
my
great. And your
website.
Instagram?
Hello, multilingual classroom.
Awesome. All right, that's pretty
Everything
easy.
about multilinguals. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty pretty easy to remember.
So I'm gonna just hang in the description of this podcast. I'm gonna put all your information because I think this topic is very, very important. A couple of episodes ago, not a couple, it's been already many episodes ago, I actually had a really good podcast episode as well with Andrea Bittner, who is also an advocate for multilingualism, multilingual families, and she's actually trying to work a lot back in the United States with families whose languages are totally different than the one where they're living. They're living in an English-speaking country, but then suddenly the mom speaks Spanish, but the father speaks Chinese. So how do you do it? Then we have different type of apps or then technology can help us. So she's actually also doing that in the US, but you are doing this in Germany. Where exactly in Germany?
I'm located in Berlin, which is a great
Berlin.
city for multilingual
Yeah,
families.
yeah. A lot of people, definitely. So moving on to the following part, we have how to raise how to raise a multilingual children. How to raise them. Is it difficult? Is it easy? How we can do it? What are the best routines families can implement, for example? How would you, what would you tell them?
hmm I actually good that you're asking it, because at some point in my career, I thought that it would be a good idea to write this down, write all those routines down that can be implemented to create the language reach household, and all of this can be found in the guide. And again, if you follow me on Instagram or check my website, you can get this guide with all the routines that are helpful, absolutely helpful for raising multilingual children. And one of these routines, perhaps I would like to talk to you about now, is just having a clear family language plan. Again, coming back to the myth and fact, I love this myth of parents saying, "Well, the children will learn it somehow," and you probably heard
Hmm.
it. Children are like sponges.
Yeah,
That they will learn it somehow. They absorb languages. Perhaps it is true for some children that get enough input, but it is definitely not true for children who are not getting input. So if there is no input or very limited input, there is no output.
exactly.
And they do absorb if you give them something to absorb, right? And something that is age appropriate, something that is challenging enough for them. And again, when I say challenging enough, going moving kind of from the small talk situation to discussing academic topics. And very often we end up having 12, 13, 15 years old who speak like 6-year-old. Why does that happen? Because they didn't receive enough academic input, right? And family
Yes.
language plan helps to see to clarify who speaks what, when, how, for
Mhm.
how long. What are the routines that we have to follow? Again, coming back to the Portuguese-German family, when does the mom speaks Portuguese? When is the story read? When is the time when the child is exposed to academic language? And by saying academic language, I'm saying going to the museum and talking about dinosaurs in Portuguese is different to me just saying in Portuguese, go wash your hands, because that's the communication at the end of the day that the parents having their with their children. The child comes back from school or kindergarten, then you have 1, 2 hours to feed the kid, to shower, go to sleep. And that basically this instructional language, go wash your hands, go eat, let's go to sleep. This is all what child receives. And having that plan and understanding, oh, my child doesn't get any exposure to academic language in Portuguese.
Exactly.
Um, this helps you to understand where can I introduce it? Where is the best time for my family in the week? And once you have this clarified, then stick to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
I like that one. Hold on. You said that you have this one in an ebook or something like it?
I have it in a guide.
Digital, right?
Yes,
PDF?
exactly.
And this is the best, and this is the $1 million question. Is that for free?
It is not free because
Okay.
it's my work of 8 years in
Very
international
good.
bilingual
Okay, no,
education, but it
perfect.
is very, very cheap and
Accessible.
affordable. I have to say it is accessible, it is affordable.
Okay,
So go
why
for
don't we
it.
just
And
do
it,
something? Since we have some people over here, they love this type of materials because people actually like it. They like to read it, and I've seen it. So, is there any discount maybe? Something like it, or it's so accessible that there's no discount?
it's very accessible, I have to say.
Oh, so that's
But
perfect then.
but I have to say that those parents who come to me to that request a personal consultation, they will get it automatically, this guide, because this is basically the
Oh,
foundation of what we do in the consultation, designing a family
perfect.
language plan and moving on to the routines.
So that's perfect then. Everybody just come over here, just get your consultation, and you're gonna get your free guide. Perfect. That's beautiful. That's what people love here. Getting things for free or some discounts. People love it. And it's true, And most of the people that we have here in the audience, some of them are parents, some of them are teachers that would like to know a little bit more about your work. And definitely not all the teachers actually make a really good living. Actually the problems that we have with the salaries, it's pretty much of a problem everywhere. So it's very good to know that it's accessible. And if they get a consultation, it will be for free for them. That's amazing. So if we have another parents here in the audience right now, if parents listening right now could only do one thing starting tomorrow, what would it be?
Empower yourself with knowledge.
Drop the
With knowledge,
mic.
because if you have knowledge, you can advocate against the myths that we mentioned, the opinions, monolingual bias, and you will make the right choices, informed choices for your children.
Yes, monolingual bias. That actually takes me to something. Now you make me remember. You made me remind something that I have it on my mind. Uh, why do some schools then discourage home languages? Why they actually stick so much on monolingual bias, like you say? Why is that? What makes you think that that happens? What is the problem?
The problem is the monolingual wall, right? Many people feel, and it doesn't matter if you're a teacher or have any other profession, many people feel threatened by
Hmm.
bilingualism, by people who are bringing different cultural code, and it is explored in Fukuyama's work, right?
Hmm.
Like political origins of political order. His book that the more is introduced of a culture that is it's this us and them, right? So
Hmm.
us is my culture where I live, and them is whoever is from outside.
Yeah,
And the more exposure the us gets from them, the more this them body is trying to bring their language, their customs, their rituals to my home. The more I just start to protect it, and it's a natural way, perhaps,
hmm,
of human beings, how they react, how they respond, and it is again an educational task, perhaps, to educate people about the diversity, how this multilingualism and language diversity can actually enrich a society instead of threaten or hurt the society. Um,
exactly.
but yeah, so I think it all comes to this, why people think this and why schools or teachers, individuals
Yeah,
making those choices.
exactly. Yeah, and I was actually thinking about this monolingual stuff, and I was like, why is it that people still believe that monolingualism is the best choice? Is it because political stuff?
It might be political. It might be again opinions based on the wrong information about how language works, right? Like, oh, I can be, I will be mixing languages. My child will be confused. My child will never learn or speak as a native speaker if they learn
No,
simultaneously. So it is better to just teach them one language. So it is based on this, I think, very wrong ideas, and I allow myself to use the word wrong because they've been proven by research to be wrong.
exactly. Yeah, I mean it's pretty sad actually to hear still this type of a monolingual bias right now, and we have so much research about learning different languages, multiple languages. It's a cognitive development that we have over there. The more languages that we speak, the more languages that we learn, it's a lot better for the cognition. So it's pretty sad that we still actually have to talk about monolingualism and why most of the schools actually are just pushing this narrative so much. And I remember actually when I was in Russia, I heard a couple of schools over there in Moscow. I heard it a couple of schools having this issue with monolingualism and all that. Same thing actually happened in China as well. Monolingualism is still there because of a political perspective again. But I think maybe some schools are pushing this narrative unintentionally, and they're making kids abandon part of their identity, maybe.
That can happen, especially with languages that have more prestige. And again, if we're talking about English and German and French, it is perhaps natural that the schools again making decisions based on the importance of the language on the political arena, right? That English is more important than Hindi or Soto
Mhm.
or any other indigenous languages, right? Because English
Mhm.
will be used. And I have to say that parents also come with this misconception. I'm a teacher of English and German languages with a master's degree in childhood education, and for over 8 years now, I've been working with international and bilingual families, supporting children and parents on their language learning journey. I help families design a family language plan and educational path for bilingual children, create language-rich environment at home where all languages can thrive, and make informed decisions that are based on research and science and not on opinions and monolingual bias, right? That they come and say English is more important, and we make this decision that our child will speak English instead of instead of our home language, right?
Exactly.
And again, it depends very much on this linguistic prestige. And as I
Mhm.
said, this push this monolingual wall again works very often very well with minority languages and languages
Mhm.
that have less prestige.
Mhm.
So a child who speaks French and German, who's monolingual, will much likely be more accepted in the society, perhaps, and
Mhm.
admired as a multilingual kid than a child who speaks German and Turkish, for
Oh,
example,
yeah,
right?
true.
Um, and again, it all comes to the politics and power.
Mm, exactly. So now that we're just touching that part, are we moving forward towards a multilingual future or a monolingual future? What do you think?
I want to believe that we're moving forward to multilingual future, but again, it's my personal perspective and my perhaps um, very narrow view of a person who works in the international school environment with international families, with teachers that, and the tendencies there are that language is valued. And people want to know more about languages. They want to know how it works, and teachers want to educate themselves. And I don't know how is it in more rural areas, for example, of Germany or some other countries. I don't know how is it in local schools. What is the development in local schools? And again, there is no absolutely no rule that local schools support multilingualism less than international schools. We cannot say that, but at the same time, it feels like there are many parents coming from local schools that with this with those problems, saying
Yeah,
that our child is was told to only speak German in their classroom, for example. So again, I don't, from my perspective, being constantly with and in also as an expat myself in those expat communities, it feels like there is this tendency of just wanting to get this knowledge, wanting to acknowledge how important languages are. Doesn't matter which part of the world these languages come from. But and again, and this is a perspective of someone who lives in Berlin,
exactly.
and Berlin is more international.
International.
It's huge, and I cannot say what is happening in more rural areas where
Mhm.
these societies are more protective of their heritage.
Exactly. True. That's true. So we have actually focused on what families and students might say, but we haven't actually talked about the teachers.
Mm.
Ta 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 ta. So what advice would you give teachers working with multilingual families then? What would you advise them?
First of all, and that's I think the basis of everything, the same advice as I give to parents to educate themselves and to be informed
Hmm.
of how language acquisition works. And it doesn't depend on whether you're a language teacher or not. Any teacher is a language teacher. I heard it from someone in in one of the PDs that I did and professional developments I did, and I absolutely love this phrase because if you teach music, if you teach art, you still teach your content through language, and you
Hmm.
need to understand how the language acquisition works and what impact do you have by teaching something in that particular language and what impact it has on the children and how they perceive you and your content from their perspective of being a multilingual student, right? And it
Exactly.
definitely will um, it is a skill that has to be learned by teachers, and it is lots of resources are needed that have to be still created. There are lots of resources out there, but there's also lots of there is a need for more. But again, once you started it and once you develop this skill to draw on the whole linguistic repertoire of your children in the
Yeah,
lesson, it helps you enormously to teach your content. When I
exactly.
know and I go from a perspective of the asset based, right? I know that the child came to my class and has no English, but has other languages. I can still teach my content using resources, using AI, using translations, using visualizations, even given that this child doesn't have English yet. And that motto of this student has no language is absolutely wrong and diminishing and
Yeah,
discriminating because every student that comes to our classrooms has a language, one,
exactly.
at least one. And
Yes,
as
and
teachers, we have this responsibility to discover, to know about this language, first of all, and then draw on this language.
yeah, exactly. I like what you said there because I actually it pretty much stick to who I am and to what each teacher should be. One of the biggest problems that I've actually find out is that not all the teachers are actually qualified to be teachers. And I'm an advocate actually for having teachers who are qualified, capable. We are not actually teaching uh, pets or something. We're teaching human beings. And if we're gonna have just backpackers, as I was talking to one of my friends back in the States, again, if we have backpacker teachers who actually just come and without knowing actually how to tackle the student, how to help the students, if we cannot even help in one language, how are we gonna help in multilingual environment? It's gonna be a little bit tougher. So we're gonna have to start actually by encouraging teachers worldwide to start like keep keep studying, keep learning. I was actually talking to Anna. Anna, she's from Georgia, teacher
Mhm.
from Georgia. She just told me like, teachers are like doctors. A doctor who stops studying is not gonna be updated. It's not gonna be up to date to everything, to the new tendencies,
Doctor
new
that is
trends, and everything.
paid less.
And exactly, and teachers the same thing. We need to actually be up to date to the new trends and new methodologies, strategies, and all that. Now we have words like multilingual. Before we didn't even talk about it. There was not even a thing. Translanguaging, it was not even a thing until not so long ago. So I think everything is with learning. Keep learning, keep pushing yourself to know more so you can give the best to the students. And I mean, as a final part here that I have a little sentence here. Uh, what does language mean to you? Not from the perspective of Yulia, the teacher, but Yulia, the regular citizen,
The regular citizen of
regular
the
human
world.
being. Yes.
Of the world. Yeah, that's a good question because I for some reason I remembered an activity that I do with my students very often with new students, which is called language portrait. And it is an outline of a person, and then the students have to color body parts in
Hmm.
in different colors, and then connect those body parts to different languages. And if I remember the portrait, my own portrait that I modeled for the students, and I told them about my story. Um, it is pretty, I think, for the students, it is pretty inspiring to see someone who not only speaks many languages, and again, I'm not talking about proficiencies. I'm talking about connections, right?
Hmm.
It's not only about the language that you speak fluently, you're native, non-native, you have accent, or you don't have the accent. It's just about the languages that play important role in your life, right? And I remember coloring my ears with Spanish and Portuguese and Tartar language as a minority language in the region I come from. And it's just, which I don't speak, but it is a language that I heard when I was growing up, right? From the friends or family surrounding me. And it's just definitely part of me, even though I don't speak it. And then I remember coloring my heart in Spanish and Russian because those are my heart languages. This is the
Mhm.
language of my family, of my parents. This is the language of my husband and his family. And this is the language that I know perhaps more cute words and nice, cute expressions in
Yeah,
Spanish than I know any in English because I just have this emotional connection to this language through his family, through his language. And
amazing.
it's just, and it's just so much about continuing developing it will change this language portrait of myself. It will change with the people I meet in throughout my life that speak other languages that are bringing something different from their cultures, and it will change, and this is what it means to me, right? Because it's all part of me. It is this is why I said citizen of the world, right? And it's not
Exactly.
connected to passports at all, and it's just putting this whole political thing aside and
Yeah,
just focus on the connections, on relationship to people.
I love it. I love what you just said. Citizen of the world. It is like that. It's not about a passport. I don't care the passport that you have or whatever. What I care is that you can actually communicate and that your heart is talking there. You said that how many languages you said you speak? I'm sorry, I forgot.
I speak four languages.
Which one?
Well, Russian and German, English and Spanish.
Wonderful. Where did you learn Spanish?
Um, Basically, I started through my husband. He,
Oh,
when we met, I didn't have any Spanish at all, but he is a Spanish speaker, and I had the need to communicate to his family, who
Spanish speaker from Spain?
from Spain, correct? From Spain.
Oh, joder, tío.
Poder, yeah.
Joder.
And he's a Basque speaker as well, so I hear lots of
Ooh,
Basque.
beautiful.
And it's just again, perhaps I wouldn't be able to have the conversation we had today in
Hmm.
English in Spanish because I just don't have this academic vocabulary. I don't work in Spanish, but I'm perfectly capable of having a conversation with his family, with his friends, in Spanish. And again, it's a more kind of connection of life, not like work
That's all it really matters,
communication.
communication. That's all. I mean, you don't need to actually just sound like philosophical or like Shakespearean language over there because you're not gonna do like a poetic moment. No, you just need to actually communicate. It doesn't matter actually how you speak it or your accent or not, whatever. It doesn't matter. Regardless. You're
Yeah.
communicating and languages is just for that. Talk, communicate. It's been an hour and it's been an amazing time talking with you, Yulia. I think you're a very, very interesting person and very professional as well. I really hope you can actually just can have more people around and you can actually help a lot more people also because they need more people like you, more teachers like you. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to be here listening to you.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks for the opportunity to be here to share my knowledge and for your brilliant questions, super questions that help us to have this absolutely useful, I hope, for your listeners as well, discussion.
Great. So, see you next time then. Welcome again.
Thanks, Mike.